It is time for In the Garden with Carol Ann. It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Carol Ann Baldwin is here to talk about gardens, gardening, and tools and supplies and everything that helps make a garden grow, and water. We had an interesting water story this morning. And the phone lines are open the entire hour. If you want to call in, don't hesitate. Don't worry about being long-winded. This is a great show for that kind of a question. And don't forget there's a Facebook page. What do you call it? A companion piece, I guess, to the show. Yeah. And all you got to do is go to facebook.com, put In the Garden, and then join the thing. Right. Just ask to join. Yeah. I said accept. I posted something there. Yeah. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning. Real good, Larry.
What was it that I posted?
Your rose bush.
Oh, yeah, my roses.
Yes, your roses.
Now, this, for all intents and purposes, looked dead a few years ago.
Okay.
And then I saw this little thing coming up. And now there's lots of things growing up.
Right, lots of canes
and there's no organized. It's just wild.
It's just there, yeah. It's just there and put on flowers.
And all of a sudden, really beautiful red flowers.
I don't know what you did.
I don't nothing.
I know that's it. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know the difference between the rose you get for Valentine's Day. That there's like a tighter.
Right. It's those
flower,
usually
whatever.
Aren't that much. Those aren't grown. I mean, that's not what yours was.
No, mine is like a looser looking.
Right, it's like it's probably, more than likely, it's like one of the knockout roses or something like that.
Yeah, I should bring in a vine or something. Is it called a vine?
No, it's a bush. It's not a climber.
It's very, I mean, it looks like a big old spider. I mean, with 20 legs.
It's got a whole bunch of them. Probably needs to be trimmed a little bit just to get it, pulled back into, because it started growing again. Yeah, and this is the time of year that usually, if you think about what we usually, you said Valentine's Day and roses, and that's a good time to cut roses back.
Oh, okay.
It would be Valentine's. If you think about your roses, tend to your roses for Valentine's Day. And, if you haven't yet, or you were worried about the cold, or even if you did and you still need to do a little trimming, it's not going to hurt anything. Mm-hmm. Not from here forward. Remember, it's kind of weird. Roses are beautiful roses. They like cow manure. It's one of the whatever. But they do. I mean, if you've got some roses that maybe have struggled over time, I have seen where a few shovels full of cow manure around a rose bush has made a world of difference from ones that were about to be dead to flourishing rose bushes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I need to go get some.
Go get you a bag of cow poop.
Just get a bag. I'm not going out into the cow field.
No.
All right, you have a phone call, and
all right.
We invite everybody to call 622-9622 if you'd like to be on the show. Good morning. Thank you for calling in, for waiting. You're on the air now with Carol Ann.
Good morning. Will that help hibiscus also?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean anything, everything you can cut back. You can cut back things now. We're done with wintertime. Looking at the long range forecast and stuff like that they're saying, we're going to actually have seasonable weather. With this cold front that's coming through, it's actually just seasonal weather. But cut things back. Most all your flowering shrubs and plants and stuff like that would benefit from manure or anything like that to bring them up out of. Without.
Okay, I've got hibiscus that are probably 4 feet more tall.
Okay.
Probably more than that.
Sure.
And they just look awful. How far should I cut them back? And also crotons, and I have a snow bush, and they're just dead. I mean, they just look awful. And I know they'll come back.
They should. Well, this year was such a bad winter. Are you seeing any growth coming back up out of any of them?
Well, I know the crepe myrtle is coming back.
Yeah.
They're flushing out, but I haven't really gotten down and examined the other ones. I'm just kind of looking at them from the distance, and they look bad.
Sure. Yeah, with the hibiscus, I would start pruning. You figure you can if say it's 5 feet tall, because you said it's probably a little bigger than 4.
Yeah.
Say it's 5 or 6 feet tall. You can, without doing any damage, take 2 feet off of that. Without hurting it at all. But what I would do is take that 2 feet off and then start looking. Do you have good wood under there? If not, keep cutting. Okay. If not, keep cutting. You can take them way back, because it might be coming. It may have to come back from the root this year. With the back-to-back below 32, hard freezes that we had 5 nights in a row, and then we had a week's break, and then we had another couple of nights. A lot of things that are tropical or semi-tropical either were killed all the way to the ground or possibly even killed out unless they've been there for an extended period of time.
Well, we even covered stuff, and it still
Yeah,
God.
well,
Yeah.
frost blanket just does just that. It doesn't do a hard freeze. It does
Yeah.
frost. And, I mean, it does help to bring the temperatures up. Mulch would have been a good thing over the root zone just because that will insulate the roots. On the croton, again, just start snipping till you find something that looks healthy.
Okay.
The snowbush, same kind of thing. Just see whether or not you can cut back and keep going until you come into some good wood. If it's got a lot of mulch piled around, I might rake it all out of there, throw some fertilizer or manure down, fresh mulch, and see, and just give it some water, give it a drink.
Well, would you suggest moving the hibiscus this time of year?
If you need to move it because it was not in the correct place, I would go ahead and move it, realizing that you may do a little transplant shock. Normally, we are a little cooler still. That we move things during the cooler time of year before we start to get that record heat and things like that. So if you had to move it I'd go ahead and do it now.
Right. Oh, thanks, Caroline.
Oh,
Appreciate
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
And we went to what's that place called? Shalom Park.
Oh, okay.
And we
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
azaleas.
Oh, yeah, the
Just
azaleas are
everywhere.
just blooming like crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't get hurt by this cold, which I was actually, because the cold, I guess, was early enough on. Those buds weren't poking up and out of there. They weren't beginning to open yet. Let those bloom out. They're spectacular when they're blooming. Actually, over at the Ag Center, there's a loropetalum, Chinese fringe flower, goes by a couple of names, and it's kind of a little out of hand, but it is just blooming so profusely. It's like, okay, now you got to wait for that thing to finish blooming before you can cut it back. Same thing with your azaleas. Wait for it to bloom.
And you have another phone call.
Great.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hi.
Hi.
What should I use to kill a whitish lichen that's on azaleas and crepe myrtles?
The lichen is not hurting the azaleas or crepe myrtles, but you can try a copper fungicide on it. Usually when on the trees and stuff like that, before they leaf back out, of course azaleas are always in leaf. If your azaleas or gardenia, crepe myrtles are not thriving the way you think that they should be, look for other reasons. Whether or not they're just old, over pruned, need mulch cleared out from underneath them, and fresh, fertilizer, fresh mulch, and things like that.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you for the call. Real quickly, the phone number is 622-9622. You got another one, Carol.
Great.
You ready?
Yeah.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning, Sonny.
I heard the third thunderstorm was the week before last, and I didn't get a chance to call in. But anyway, can we put down lawn fertilizer now, or should we wait a little longer? I use the extended release type, pellet, dry stuff.
Right. Have you needed to mow the grass yet?
Yes.
Okay. If you've actually needed to mow it, if it's greening up on its own, you can go ahead and fertilize, because that's usually what we're waiting for, is for that grass to come out of the dormancy on its own. Otherwise, your fertilizers can burn. You can put, I would say you can. Normally, we're looking at the middle to the end of March. But if your grass is already actively beginning to grow, it's come out of that dormancy, you can,
Right. It's funny. The grass greened up in 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We've had a few little sprinkles. I don't know who else has had some rain. I woke up this morning, either it was rain or it was heavy dew to some moisture on the ground this morning. And so I don't know if we've gotten a few little sprinkles here and there, or if you're turning your irrigation on. Just the warmer temperatures at night is usually where a lot of the triggers to come out of a dormancy occur. And so we've been fairly warm at night, actually, up in the mid-60s.
Right. Actually, we did have rain last night. It was enough to wake me up.
Oh, okay.
Either early this morning, I probably would think.
Okay. So
Anyway,
that's
we did have a little rain.
sure.
Anyway, thank you. And
Oh, you're welcome.
thank you, WOCA, for the programming. And again, thank you, Carol Ann.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Thank you, Sonny. We are needing to take a little break. We'll be right back. This is the show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann. The station is WOCA, The Source, and we'll be right back.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
The college.
If you don't believe this is a super early azalea season, then open your eyes and look around town. They're everywhere. They're in gorgeous bloom right now. Now all you have to do is get down to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens for their fabulous truckload azalea sale. Here's a super buy, a special selection of variegated dogwood azaleas, number 1 size, regular $7.99 for just $2.99. Yes, I said just $2.99. Of course, Bob's still got plenty of those ever-blooming red ruffles. They're still just $3.99. And how about veggies? Bob's got them in a big new veggie section right out front. They're still just $3.49 for the jumbo 4-pack. Buy one, get one at half price on the trees, so don't miss that sale right now. All going on now during the Camellia Show Spectacular, daily till 4, Saturdays till 2 at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Homegrown, locally owned since 1952.
Come to the 5th Annual Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival on March 3rd, 2018 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival goal is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, wag, wiggle, and walk, live entertainment on the main stage, a down-home pie-eating contest, and all things strawberry, but to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out their website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 3rd from 8 to 6 p.m. Come early and enjoy the day. The NFL alumni is sponsoring a Clays for Kids, a sporting event to benefit the Marion County Champions for Champions. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Inglis, Florida
on Saturday, April 7th.
Call 427-0950 for detailed information. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Call 427-0950 for detailed information on the Clay for Kids sporting event hosted by the NFL alumni.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Real quick, if I can mention, if you want to find out more about the NFL alumni skeet shoe, the clay, what do you call them, Caroline? Clay pigeons?
Clay pigeon,
the discs. They're doing that April 7th, I think Joe says in the ad. We'll be there taking pictures. Joe's going to be shooting. Have you ever done this?
No.
No. Anyway, so it's at the Robinson Ranch in west of Denellen, and what I wanted
with Withlacoochee, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Over on the Withlacoochee.
Yeah, you know where Lake Rousseau is, kind of over that area? Yeah. But anyway, what I want to tell you, the website is NFLalumni.org, NFLalumni.org, and then you click on events, and then you go to their calendar, go to their April page. It's very, very, you have to just kind of understand these guys don't know how to make a good website. But it's a really great thing. And then you click on April 7th, it'll say South Florida something. Don't worry about the word South. It's not happening down in Miami. It's happening right here.
Right.
So it's called the South Florida NFL Alumni Organization or something
because
like that.
the organization is, right, gotcha.
Just so you know that. And anyway, looking forward to that. That's a really good... And the fundraiser is for the children who normally would be under the umbrella of Special Olympics.
Okay.
But Champions for Champions is the name in our community for that effort.
Okay, that's a smaller subgroup within.
Well, it's not a subgroup. What it is? Remember how the PTA was not always local friendly, like you'd have to send the money.
Right,
then they started the PTO.
Which kept the money within your local school systems, right.
So that's what Maria and Don did.
Okay,
they said, you know what, we're working so hard and not much money's coming back, so let's start our own, and they call it Champions for Champions because, I mean, almost everybody is a former NFL player.
They're all, the alumni of professional football alumni.
Are you okay with another phone call?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. Good morning, you're on there with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann, and good morning, Larry Appleseed.
Yes, I got 3 of them going right now.
That's what I called him, too.
You can plant a forest of apple trees eventually.
Yeah, he'll be doing it pretty soon. That's for sure.
The reason I'm calling now, I remember I had that tree that lost all its leaves during a hurricane.
Right.
And the tree died. It was dead. Big hunks of bark fell off it. So I had my tree man come over, and he was climbing around, and he said, "Oh yeah, this tree got hit by lightning." And I did have a lightning strike about a month before the hurricane, and that's what killed the tree. The question is, I had the tree taken out and the stump ground out. What I've got is about a 6 by 6 foot area of what I would call sawdust and dirt.
Right.
I want to put sod over that. Do I need to take some more of that sawdust out of it, and just add more soil, or will the sod be okay on top of that kind of a 50-50 mixture?
Is it? I mean, so that sawdust, the wood chips from when they chipped that stump out. It's you took some of that out, did you say?
Yeah, I raked it because I wanted to get the bigger chips out, and then what I got left is I call it sawdust.
Okay.
And it looks like about a 50-50 mix between soil and sawdust.
I'd probably, it's going to be hard for you to get more of that out of there without digging out the soil that's there. I would probably try to add more soil. What happens when items start to break down, organic material starts to break down in the soil, or break down just composting, which that's what would happen. It would compost on its own. It would rot on its own. Is it has a tendency to rob nitrogen from the plant roots. So adding some more, organic matter, manure, I'm not a fan of topsoil only because it's not necessarily weed free, but if that's not a big deal to you, you can, go ahead and put some topsoil down. I wouldn't be looking at the garden soils only because the garden soils have, again, more organic materials that are in there that still are going to break down some. But the lawn soil or manure or topsoil, a little more of that, I think, and just sort of try to mix that about a little bit so that it spreads that sawdust maybe a little further into the lawn, shares it a little further, and then go ahead and put your sod or your seed down.
Yeah, when you grind a stump out, there's a deficit there, and I filled it up with the sawdust and the dirt in that. And what I did is I took my car and I drove my car back and over about a dozen times to kind of weight it down.
Right.
I know there's still going to be some more settlement because that sawdust is going to rot. It's going to be a deficit there, and it's going to settle some more. So maybe I should really wait a while before I put that sod down because I don't want to have the sod down and all of a sudden I'm starting to sink again.
Right. Or you might even think of turning that area into are you something against putting a planting, a shrub bed or anything in that area or another tree to replace the one that came out, or you're looking to just go ahead and sod because you've got a nice area there, a good sized area that you could make that into another flower bed or shrub bed kind of thing and not have to worry about putting the sod down.
Yeah, that's what my wife more or less kind of coached me. She said, "Why don't you make a nice little something out there besides grass?" So maybe I'll go that route.
Yeah, and then you can add some more soil to it, and even you could add enough soil in it where you almost mound that up a little bit, and a little bit of a berm to where you're with an edging around there that your sod's not going to be an issue. Your regular turf isn't going to be a problem with it either.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, I guess, but it's
sure it will.
I welcome it, and it'll be fine eventually. I hated to lose. I had so many trees taken down on my property, and that was one of the trees I liked because I had a nice swing on it. It was a great shade tree for that swing because it had leaves on all year round.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Carol Ann and Larry Appleseed. Thank you very much.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you. We got plenty of time left. Carolyn does this show for a whole hour, which means even though we're coming close to the bottom of the hour, we got a whole half hour after that. Hey. We invite you to call in, and this seems like a good time of year to get information.
This is that busy time of year. I do want to do one thing because Robin left us all kinds of stuff to be given away, but I do want to focus maybe on the bottom of the hour. We can do this. We got some tickets to that Ricky Nelson Remembered concert that's this coming Saturday on March the 3rd over at the Orange Blossom Opry. And that's a nice local venue
Yes, it is
to
beautiful
catch a
venue.
concert and stuff. And this is put on by his twin sons. This is Matthew and Gunnar, and they'll be performing some of his songs. There's also some big screen video footage from the Nelson family, interviews from celebrities and things like that, and just sounds like a really cool, really fun multimedia entertainment event, and it's and family friendly. And we've got several different pairs of tickets, both for the 2:30 performance and the 7:30 performance. And the ticket prices are between $39 to $47 if you were looking to purchase your tickets. So at the bottom of the hour, if you want some of these tickets, give us a call, and we'll have some for you. And take advantage of some fun this weekend.
You want to hear them sing a song that is important?
We used to have a wonderful song.
Wait. Let me see where it is.
If you've got it.
I think I got something else playing. All right, here it is.
There we go.
That's the Sons.
Yeah, okay.
I think the father had a deeper voice.
Could be. Yeah. A little more refined, maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's. I think that's just one of them.
One of the boys doing that. That's sounds like a good
garden party.
Good rendition, and that used to be a theme song.
That
right
used to be your
here.
theme song.
That used to be my theme song.
Now you have your
now
own
I have
personalized
my own.
song.
That's it. But yeah, so if anybody's interested in some of the tickets, we've got them for the 2:30 performance and the 7:30 performance, and that is this Saturday, the 3rd.
Yes.
Which March is. Here at the end of the week.
I think they're like $40 tickets.
Yeah, it says $39 to $47 value on these tickets. So
yeah, so if you want to go, let us know. We'll take the calls during the break.
Right. And just as another, and we might be able to. And I was trying to find. I had a better flyer for the Spring Festival, which actually had the list of speakers and things like that for the Master Gardener Festival, March 10th and 11th, 8 to 5, 9 to 4, respectively. But when I even bring it up on the web page, it's still this flyer. So I don't have the one with me, and I had purposefully gotten a copy of it the other week, and I forgot it, I guess. It must be at home. But there'll be, as always, there's always, lots of stuff to see, lots of stuff to do, a good kid zone, lots of seminars to take advantage of, lots of great vendors to shop from for plant ideas, landscape ideas, and things like that. It is at basically a new venue. It will be over at the Livestock Pavilion area.
Okay.
So much more shade, closer parking to the event itself. So on some of the other, I'm not exactly sure how they're doing all the seminars and such like that, but there'll be maps available for that once you get there.
All right, if you want the tickets to the Ricky Nelson's Sons show,
Ricky Nelson remembered.
you need to call right now, 622-9622. We will not be on the air. We'll get your name, and Robin will take it from there, and you'll get tickets. Yep. I think that's how it works.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back.
Can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. There are people demanding that Broward County, Florida Sheriff Scott Israel resign over how the school shooting in Parkland was handled. Somebody's leaked an email asking for help pushing back.
Fox News host Laura Ingram says she has an email given to her by a source that shows staff members at the Broward County Sheriff's Office were directed to defend Sheriff Scott Israel. She says the email urges all employees to vigorously support him and reads, quote, "He stood with us, now we must stand with him."
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The White House Communications Director Hope Hicks speaks to the House Intelligence Committee today.
The committee is likely to ask her about any contacts that Trump campaign members had with the Russians, as well as the initial White House statement drafted on Air Force One about that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting between Russians and Trump campaign officials.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Fox News. We report, you decide.
At Progressive, we think your floral boutique is the bee's knees. In fact, it's all the bee's knees in every hive of bees in all the trees from here to Belize. Please, everyone agrees. You deserve the expertise of Progressive Business Insurance, with over 40 years of experience helping busy bees and their knees glide with ease like a gentle breeze. So whether you're a worker bee, a queen, or none of these, buzz over to progressivecommercial.com if you please. Faster than a bee's knees as he pollinates the leaves of 3 trees. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates.
When hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Daryl is hired with Indeed.
Using the site saves me a lot of time. It makes my job so much easier.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Hey Tish, this email about honey baked ham giving our listeners $20 off of a 9-pound ham just for mentioning WOCA? Is this right?
Yes. While supplies last, our listeners can save $20 off of a 9-pound or larger ham. All they have to do is tell them that they heard about it on WOCA.
Okay. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 861-0011, or stop by 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue, right there behind Best Buy. Tell them you heard about the special on WOCA and save $20. But hurry in. This is a limited time offer.
Have you seen this year's Camellia Show at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens? Then you're in for a real treat because the cool, wet winter has made this year's show more spectacular than ever before. Hundreds of trees in bloom and it's all free. And while you're there, check out this buy on Bob Wine's own heirloom camellias. They're blooming and they're budded and they're selling for just $19.99. He has some gorgeous mandevilla on trellis and they're just $24.99. And this week, look for the fabulous geranium show. They'll be on sale for just $2.99 each or get 10 for just $19.99. More deals? Check the ad or go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net. They're open daily till 4, Saturdays till 2 on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just east of Lake Weir Avenue. Homegrown, locally owned, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Tuesday, intervals of clouds and sun. There can be a shower at the coast. The high 75 along the coast, 82 inland. Then clear to partly cloudy Tuesday night. Lows in the upper 50s to low 60s inland. Upper 60s along the coast. Intervals of clouds and sunshine and warm on Wednesday. There can be a shower or two, mainly early in the day along the coast, with a high of 81 at the coast, 85 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Thank you, Joe. 67 degrees right now, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin.
Yeah, we're back. We're back and talking plants and talking things. One thing I did want to mention, and I don't know if anybody has noticed, citrus trees are blooming. Like my favorite scent. If you have citrus trees on your property or whatever, it's a good time. Get rid of all the old fruit. Go ahead and get it all plucked off.
There's a ton of it on my orange tree.
Go ahead and pluck it off. There's a good chance a lot of that might even be kind of dried up. So just get it off the tree. If it's heavy for its size, it's still a good fruit. Go ahead and have it, juice it, whatever. If they're kind of lightweight, just kind of chuck them out, throw them away. Because chuck them out. Just give them a toss. The old 86 bucket. But because the trees are getting full of bud, and the
trees are getting full of what?
Bud, B-U-D, bud. They're blooming. They're getting to bud out.
Well, I'm full of bud right now.
Full of bud. That's
leave me alone. I'm a little bit full of bud, huh?
And so this is a good time of year. Get that fruit, the old fruit off of them. Enjoy the wonderful fragrance of all those flowers on them. That's one of my favorites. And get ready to do some fertilization on them. Don't spray anything at this time of year. If you had bugs last year or something like that, they're not at a population yet to be of a problem. Wait till those flowers drop off if you had an aphid problem or anything like that. Just because your pollinators are coming to come visit those flowers.
Right,
And we need those guys. We need as many of them to hang out. And, you have a profusion of flowers, even though you'll only have, a small portion of that actually become fruit. We need that many flowers to encourage those, the pollinators to come through and set that fruit for you, and visit some other plants that are going to give, fruit and things like that in your gardens.
Whatever became of the bee crisis from a couple of years ago? Did that fix itself?
I just think it's not as much in the news.
Really? It's still a problem?
It does. There is, and I think it happens possibly, because you can't pinpoint it down to any one specific issue. They have begun to, in different areas, or regulation and removal of certain pesticides from the market. Again, even though they were pesticides, I'm trying to think, effective pesticides when used as directed. Unfortunately, probably 75% of the people who use pesticides don't read the labels and use it as directed, unfortunately. So, and I guess, some of those did become an issue, and I think just a little more care and things like that. But there are more and more people who actually raise bees now that I think when you start to see a percentage, and when they start to say colony, it's like it's not across the board. It might be pocketed areas. And again, there's mites that affect bees. There's weather conditions that can affect bees, besides pesticides and other things, and other predator type things that that problems bees can have. So I mean, we want to encourage them into our landscape. So you do really want to limit your use of pesticides, or be sure that when you're purchasing a pesticide for use, that you read the directions on it. Many plant labels nowadays will actually have just a little highlighted area saying, to be careful with insecticides, that this is a plant that's going to invite pollinators in, so your use of pesticides is, kind of discouraged.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we've got good insects, we don't want to kill them.
We don't want to kill the beneficial insects, and I mean, there's a lot more beneficial insects than just the bees and the wasps. There's your ladybugs consume, both in a larval stage and an adult stage, tons of, not tons, but a lot of aphids and things like that, which are harmful to our plants. You have to be a responsible user of these products. And even, we all say, well, if I use an organic pesticide, that's not always true. There's one organic pesticide, and I mean, I like it as a pesticide, but it is detrimental to bees. So you have to follow the instructions on it, so that you're not that you're not harming the bees that you're trying not to hurt. So read and follow the label instructions on application rates, application timing, and I always try to say between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. is your better times to use those things. So you'll use it late in the afternoon, very early in the morning, overcast days, not days that it's going to rain, but overcast days, where you have a low chance of rain, but because that's when bees and things like that generally aren't out on those kind of days, or those times of days. So
what are the insects that you don't want? Like, what do you want to kill? I mean, as far as the garden is concerned.
Your aphids, scale insects,
and these are like
white fly.
microscopic, right?
Well, no, you can see aphids. They come in many different colors. You'll see them on the stems usually, and most things will go after the young new growth. I mean, we all like baby greens in the garden, so that's what the bugs are going to go after too. The new, young tender growth, that's where it's easier for them to either attach themselves to, if they're piercing, sucking insects, that they can get their mouth parts into it and be able to take the juices out of the plants, which are aphids and scale insects and even white fly.
What is the caterpillar? Where does that fit?
The caterpillar is a chewing insect.
Yeah.
So he eats but again, they usually will begin at least on the new growth. Now, some of your caterpillars are your butterfly caterpillars.
Right,
So you
right,
have to use caution. Not every caterpillar is a butterfly, but they are all voracious eaters. So it's, pick your battles. I mean, no tomato hornworm's going to stay on my tomato plants. I planted the tomato plants for me, not for the tomato hornworm, which grows up to be a moth. And I'm sure that there's enough of them out there that, we're not really being detrimental to the population. I usually cut those in half and let them drip where they are.
Oh, my God.
Stink bugs are another one we don't want because stink bugs, again, are piercing, sucking insects. They'll get on your tomatoes or your peppers and just put their proboscis, their mouth part, right into that fruit and take a little, suck the good stuff out. Or they first initially inject their saliva in that helps to break that down, and then they draw that back in, that nutritional part of it back in. And then when you you see spots on your tomatoes, you cut it open and you got white streaks down in it. Many times that's from the stink bug being in there. But then again, there's predatory stink bugs that do. So you really have to be careful.
What?
There's also predatory stink bugs that will take care of other insect pests too.
Oh, so some of the stink bugs are good.
Some stink bugs can be good. Wasps, everybody's afraid of wasps. Wasps will attack other insects. There are predatory wasps that will go after caterpillars and help you get rid of some of those. And the more things we put into our gardens and landscapes, where you're building a beautiful butterfly garden and then you get angry because nature comes through and you have more wasps or you have more lizards and anoles and toads and frogs that eat the butterfly larvae. Well, you invited them when you invited the butterflies. So you have to realize you get one, you get the other. Not all of them are going to survive. That's nature. When we prevent butterflies, where we keep feeding them past their season, we're not necessarily doing them any benefit because the weather and climate and things like that. We don't know if truly milkweed growing in December and January has the same nutritional effects as what it has in springtime. So are we doing more harm than good? But we want the butterflies in our landscapes.
Sure, yeah.
So
it's one of those.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. But do be a steward if you find that you wish to use pest control. Over and above just hosing things off. Scout and find your problems early. That's when your lesser toxic items can be used more easily. Your safer soaps, your mild oil sprays, and things like that. But again, read and follow the instructions on those as well.
We have another break. Let me squeeze in one live read real quickly. For children with bone, muscle, or joint problems, there is something happening on March 10th from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Ocala Shrine Club. And if your child could benefit from a pediatric orthopedic specialist, there will be one at the Shrine Club on that date, March 10th. That's a week from Saturday.
Right.
For towing, toe walking, flat feet, bowed legs, knocked knees, sore, painful, stiff joints, limb deficiencies, curved spine indicating possible scoliosis, or clubbed feet, you might want to take your child to the Shrine Club a week from Saturday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It's a free screening.
Free.
Joe made a point to mention that free, F-R-E-E. Let me give you the address and the phone number, and then we'll take a break and be right back. The address is 4301 Southeast Merricamp Road. I believe this is the, there's a statue outside with the...
the Shrine Club. It's on, if you're going out Merricamp Road, it's on your left.
And there's a statue of the guy holding a child?
Yeah, because the Shriners help crippled children.
Yes. Yep. And the phone number is 352-454-9202 or 362-6216. And call us if you need that repeated. That's for children.
Children having, limb problem, walking difficulties.
Right.
Yeah.
Orthopedic specialists will be there doing screenings for free. So
free. Fantastic.
Yeah, take advantage of that one. All right, we will take a little break. Be right back with Carol Ann Baldwin.
Hey, this is Matt Wilkerson from Verizon. You work all day, right? So why would you want to spend your night out shopping for that new phone? Well, Marion County, let me and Verizon help you out. I can deliver to your home or office, saving you precious time. Phone, tablets, internet, home phones, even accessories. Whatever you need, we will deliver free of charge. Call me at the store, 352-528-0020. That's 528-0020.
With a graduate degree in management and leadership from Webster University, there'll never be a better time for you to explore what's next in your career. Classes are scheduled so you can continue your normal workday routine, and the accelerated program means a new term starts about every 10 weeks. If you're looking to gain a broad general management and leadership perspective, then Webster University's Management and Leadership degree program is the right one for you. It's all a part of what's next at Webster University.
Go to webster.edu/manage, accredited by ACBSP.
Hey Tish, this email about honey baked ham giving our listeners $20 off of a 9-pound ham just for mentioning WOCA. Is this right?
Yes. While supplies last, our listeners can save $20 off of a 9-pound or larger ham. All they have to do is tell them that they heard about it on WOCA.
Okay. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 861-0011, or stop by 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue, right there behind Best Buy. Tell them you heard about the special on WOCA and save $20. But hurry in. This is a limited time offer.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Carolyn Baldwin, the time flies when you are here. You must have a connection to the theory of relativity or something.
We just keep it going, and that's what keeps it going. This time of year, it is one of those things, and I had my mail. My husband handed me the mail the other day.
I thought you were going to say my male husband.
My male husband, yeah. Well, he handed me my mail the other day, and it was the Totally Tomatoes catalog. And everybody who gardens knows that, their gardening catalogs, seed catalogs are all, it's like crack for gardeners. Seed catalogs are, it's an addictive. It's an addictive drug, that your catalogs and getting in the dirt and playing dirt.
Make you healthier.
Yeah, it's a good addiction kind of thing. Well, gardening's a good addiction.
I would say.
But yeah, I mean, we're out of the woods. I'm saying we're out of the woods on the cold. I mean, if we were to get something between, there have been historic freezes all the way into April. Our last expected frost date is not until the middle of March. I know that some people will follow their own rules that they won't plant until after that full moon or after Easter or things like that. But if you put it off for too long, you start to miss some of your windows on say, your tomatoes and things like that really need this earlier season to be able to give you a crop before it gets too hot, too rainy, too buggy, that kind of thing. So if you haven't started your tomatoes, get them started, or think about getting your beds ready and buying plants. You can still start peppers or eggplant and things like that because they like it a little warmer, and they'll produce in through the hot seasons of the year, even past the tomatoes. Squash and things like that, go ahead, put them in the ground, or put them in your peat pots to where you've got a nice sized plant to set in the ground with a good root zone. Cucumbers, same kind of thing. Make your selection. Do you want a bush variety that's going to take up a little less space, but it's going to stay at the ground level, or a climber that you can put up on a trellis or a fence kind of thing, whatever you have. Growing vertically is another way to keep plants up off the ground, and sort of helps with some pest issues and some disease issues because not all your leaves are down there at the ground level. Mulching within the garden is always a benefit too for that same kind of thing, and watering at ground level. Put yourself a soaker hose down in your planting beds, and that way all your water's right there. Or hand water using a water wand where you can put it, you don't have to stoop over to water, but you can put that water right on the soil and not have that splashback on your leaves. Of course, we can't control nature with the rains on that kind of thing, but at least we can control what we do on our gardens. So,
Is a fried green tomato made from a tomato called a green tomato, or is it just a normal tomato that didn't ripen?
Hasn't gotten
that's
ripe.
it. That's what you do.
Yep, that's it. Yeah,
Oh,
you
really?
start. Yeah, and a lot of times, especially if you're looking to grow, say you're growing a beefsteak or some of the larger tomatoes, and you start to get quite a few fruit on there, and you want to get a couple nice sized tomatoes, you might take off some of those green ones in order to ripen up a couple of nice size red ones, because you're going to do some burgers, and you're going to and you want a big old tomato, or you want a big old
Why does that always
tomato
sound good?
Because a nice thick slice of tomato on white bread with mayonnaise, and it's just a fantastic sandwich. But your fried green tomatoes are terrific
that does
too.
sound good, doesn't it?
Fried green tomatoes are fantastic too. I love
Do you
them.
ever buy tomatoes?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Off season. I don't buy many.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're off season. But
Can you tell?
if I want,
If you were blindfolded or something, could you tell which ones you grew and which ones you bought?
You probably could by the flavor.
Can you tell?
I've never tried it, but I'm sure I could.
Can you tell the difference between the organic whatever and the non-organic?
And the non-organic.
Yeah.
Some people say you can, and
I
don't know if it's because when it's organic, it's usually grown closer to home, or grown from your own home,
Right.
so allowed to ripen further on the plant versus harvested earlier.
Oh, okay.
Before its full flavors begin to take hold. Because my understanding, the definition of vine ripe, unless you're watching on, to see the things, I'm making the air quotations, vine ripe tomatoes it has a blush of color. It can still be a green tomato harvested with just that beginning blush of color before it's harvested. And we know that that's not going to have the full flavor, even when allowed to ripen some in shipment. They don't ripen when they're kept in the dark. They got to ripen in sunlight. And those I'll say do not have full flavor. So you probably.
But doesn't the salt just bring out the full flavor?
I think it does. Same way with a watermelon. I used to think it was crazy to put salt on a watermelon.
Oh, wow. I've never done that.
I tried it just a little bit, and it just happens to bring that flavor
Really?
out. Yeah.
Do you salt carrots?
I'm not a carrot eater.
Really?
The only way I have carrots is if they're in something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's grated in a salad, grated in coleslaw,
Do you know
cooked in soup, cooked in stew, that kind of
All right,
thing.
this
but
is
to
a
eat carrot-
I'm gonna have a conversation with you because you've lived in the South for a long time,
Right.
But your life began in the North,
Right.
Same thing for me.
Right.
Same thing for Rob and
Yeah.
Robin's mom. So we had this conversation. Is there anything that is considered Southern food that you still have not warmed up to? Because my answer was collard greens. I just, for some reason, I warmed up to cornbread. I warmed up to grits. I love almost all Southern food that's called.
Right.
But
Southern
when it comes
food.
to that,
See, I like greens, but I want somebody
Collard-
else to cook them. Yeah.
so you do.
Mustard greens, I think, a little more on the bitter side, but no, I like
So
greens.
is there
I like-
anything-
probably turnip.
Oh, that's something you never warmed up to?
Well, yeah, I don't think I've ever eaten a turnip.
I know it's not
Yeah.
from the garden, but what about the crawfish, that thing?
Oh, I love crawfish.
You do?
Oh, I love seafood.
Oh.
If it doesn't bite me first, and even if it does, I'll probably bite you back. Yeah. But
So am I okay? See, my son was born here, so am I a Southerner by?
see now, my daughter
by-
doesn't eat
by
greens.
birth?
My
By his
daughter,
birth?
yeah, my daughter. I'm a transplant who took root. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm not going back north. I'm not going to be a halfback and go back up, Carolinas
halfback.
or something like that. Yeah, I'm not a snowbird that goes back and for the winter months, or a halfback that they move down here and can't handle the heat, so they go back to about the Carolinas or halfway back to where they come from.
Okay, can I make it a little bit racial? And I don't mean racist. I
okay.
mean racial.
Okay.
Okay, because if you go to a black person's home, they will have food that's slightly different than the white people.
Oh, sure,
Right?
yeah.
For example, the barbecue sauce is completely different than what you might have in your home. Right?
I guess.
I don't know what they do differently, but that's really
I
good.
think sometimes there's love in that food. It's the love of the food, a love of the cooking, and I love the food. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't buy. I hate to name a brand, KC Masterpiece or Kraft barbecue sauce.
wait a minute.
I buy Stubbs. Give me good. Yeah, that's
You know
good
what? I
barbecue
can think of maybe.
sauce,
Okay, maybe I found one for you.
Okay.
Pickled hard-boiled eggs.
No, I don't do pickled eggs, and I don't do pickled
no.
pig's feet.
No. Okay. So those
My
two.
dad did, but no. But no.
All right, you ready for the
Sure,
phone call?
sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning again. You know, after a busy morning out in the yard in the garden, there's nothing like a bowl of radishes with a lot of salt and a bottle of beer at noon.
Oh, really?
There you go.
It was
See?
never much of a radish. Again, I put my radishes in the salad, and that's about it.
What about turnips? No?
Turnips are something you cook. But no,
Yeah,
a bowl of radishes, salt, and a beer.
Are they like red ones?
Say that again. The white radishes, are they like a red one? They are. They might be a little more mild. Some of them are actually called a breakfast radish. So, you know, your flavors are a little different. All your different radishes, I think, do have a different either spiciness. I mean, I used to grow some that used to have red streaks that would run through, and they were hot. I mean, they were...
Yeah. Is there any way of telling when you're buying radishes which ones are going to be hotter? I bought some here a while back, and I could hardly eat them. They were so hot.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think by looking at them you can. Possibly the larger the radish is, because we have a tendency to look for. I want the biggest strawberries in the thing. I want the biggest blueberries, and we go for the biggest radish in there, and those ones are probably going to be the hotter ones. But I'm not real sure to say, like you say, to look at a little bag of radishes to know which ones are going to be hot. You're just taking your chances.
Well, I certainly love my radishes for a nice low-cal snack.
Crunchy little snack.
But you got to have that bottle of beer with it, though.
There you go.
Because of, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a thought on a snack.
Yeah, but this is coming from a guy who likes to eat raw beef.
I know.
You do too?
Yeah.
You like the raw beef thing too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my mom, when I was a kid,
Why?
she'd buy on the odd occasion that we would get steak or something like that. Well, we did it with ground meat too. Is that she always had to buy a little bit extra or something like that, and cut off 3 nice chunks, one for my brother, one for my dad, and one for myself, and a little garlic salt on it. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yummy. Same way, ground meat. Yeah, here. Yeah.
What do you mean ground meat as opposed
hamburger.
to...
That one's supposed to be the worst one. Steak isn't supposed to be that
But
bad.
you wouldn't do ground pork.
No, not raw pork. Because of the trichinosis kind of thing, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I mean...
It's very carnivorous.
But ground beef, yeah. I mean, I've had sushi, which is,
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you about something. You just reminded me. Okay, so we didn't go to eat at Kotobuki, but Robin had mentioned she had never eaten there. So I said, well, let's go see the menu and anyway, one of the things on the menu is something jaw, J-A-W, like the bottom part of a mouth.
Okay.
Well, we looked it up, and when it's cooked, it looks all right.
Right.
When it's not cooked, it looks like a...
it looks
horrible.
Looks like something you might clean up off the floor.
Oh my gosh, it's a horrible thing.
Oh.
Well, anyway.
Oh well.
But you can put a dead fish in your garden. That's what the Indians taught us.
That's it.
Right?
Yep. Use a fish emulsion. Use what's left of the fishing trip from the weekend. Just dig it in good into the garden. Otherwise, you will have the raccoons and things like that coming to look for them. Or the birds.
The hour goes so fast when you are here.
It does.
Do you have to work today?
No, I'm off today.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
For those who don't know, Carol Ann volunteers to do this each week. And we love the show. Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thank you.
Don't forget the Facebook page. In the garden. Become part of that family. It's all day, every day, 24 hours a day.
Ask a question, anything you need. Post a picture.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. White House Communications Director Hope Hicks takes questions from the House Intelligence Committee today behind closed doors.
It's part of the Intel Committee's investigation into Russian election meddling and possible Kremlin ties to the Trump campaign. Last month, the New York Times reported Hicks assured the president that potentially